All right, everybody. We're coming to you live tonight after the Lakers game. We're going to do a little Lakers recap. This is the Hoops Rehab team. How you doing, Eric?
Doing pretty good, man. Good to have basketball back after that. I know it was only a week off, but it felt like a long break for the All-Star game.
Yeah, for sure. It felt like it was a long time with the All-Star break, but, we are here now. Lakers got the win, barely, and we're going to talk about it. But before we get to that, if you guys are in the video right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment whenever you guys get a chance. This is our main YouTube page, the Hoops Rehab Show. We also will have the pod out after this live show. So wherever you get your pod, you'll find us there at the Hoops Rehab Show. All right, Eric, let's get it cracking. So Lakers came into tonight with, they said for the first, this is the second time in LeBron's Laker tenure that they had a healthy injury report. Can you believe that, Eric?
And the what tenure?
In LeBron's tenure.
Oh, shoot. I thought you were saying Lucas. Oh, dang. LeBron's tenure. Seasons, if I'm not mistaken.
And then
interesting.
In the morning, we hear that LeBron is now questionable and he has left knee soreness. So that didn't last too long.
Yeah.
But this was supposed to be the time where, all right, Lakers are healthy. We got the second half of the season. You've had Luka, LeBron, and AR play 152 minutes combined. Right. So you got to see what you got out of them. So what were your thoughts kind of moving forward, and what were your thoughts of this game?
Good to see a kind of a not injured roster, knock on all the wood around us for now. Obviously, the knee injury or knee soreness is probably just going to be an ongoing thing for LeBron. But hey, as far as the game goes, never going to apologize for a win. It's all about getting wins right now. 27 games right after this left. Would I say was it the prettiest? Was it the most encouraging? No. I think, as kind of has been an issue all year long, has been defensively, and they definitely had some defensive lulls that really kept the Clippers in the game. Clippers, hey man, they had a nice win against Denver last night, so I really thought Lakers had to get this win on the Clippers back-to-back in a tough battle. And so, yeah, it was Luka, it was Austin Reeves, obviously had a huge game, and they were able to kind of scrap and claw and get the W. Although Clippers were technically without at the end Kawhi, right? John Collins concussed perhaps second quarter. And then, of course, Mathurin fouled out last couple minutes. So sloppy, but we'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good game overall. Obviously, they had a really good first half.
Shot the ball.
I think Kawhi had 19 in the second quarter or something like that, right? So they kind of gave up a lot there. Got a little better defensively in the second half with Kawhi.
Yeah.
But it's hard to stop him when he's been this dominant this whole season. Then I would say that third quarter, they gave up a 17-1 run, right? So that was difficult. That was not ideal for the Lakers.
Up 15 at that point, too. Lakers were up 15. I mean, come on. But
yeah, typical third quarter that they kind of go through these lulls and everything like that. So I would say that was not ideal. However, a win's a win, and they got it done tonight. I don't know if we really want to talk about that last possession with LeBron there, kind of throwing it out cross court to somebody face guarding Luka. That's not the ideal pass there, but they escaped. They got the win, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, we're not going to get too hard on him, but it definitely wasn't a fantastic LeBron night. He did have 11 assists, so I got to give him credit for that. Only 3 turnovers. That seems a little light. I could have sworn I counted a handful of them just kind of watching. And so, yeah, it could be a little bit of that knee soreness. That last play, as you mentioned, I think Luke after the game said he should have sealed him a little better to kind of get that ball. And maybe that's the case. But to me, it looked like he was just throwing it cross court. And that's like the last thing you want to do when you're up 3 with 8 to 9 seconds left. And Batum had a good shot, missed it. As we said, Lakers kind of dodged a bullet there and got a victory. But I know we're going to kind of break it down a little bit. But yeah, 27 more to go. And they got to play a lot better than they did tonight, though. And we'll see how they look against Boston on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first time, I believe, right, Eric, that they had this starting lineup with Marcus Smart in the lineup with all the other 4 guys there.
Yeah, when I saw there were 0-0 with that lineup, I was like, oh, okay. Yep, that's the first time.
Yeah, and it's. I remember, gosh, man, we probably talked about this months ago, like whether or not it's better to have Rui in there or Marcus Smart to kind of start off the games because of his defense, and ideally, I think this is the lineup, right? You have Rui, who's been used to coming off the bench recently, or at least the last month or so. You've had Marcus Smart actually start a lot of games this year because of all the injuries to the guards, right? You know, Luka, AR. So he's had to start. LeBron's been out. He's had to start at a small forward. So he's kind of used to being in that position. And I think it works for the Lakers. They still gave up a lot of points defensively, and I would say that's more because of the second half. However, when you got guys that, you got Luka, AR, and LeBron who are just offensively gifted. You got Aiden who can score. You got to have somebody in there that can play defense, and he's probably our best defender by far.
Yeah, I mean the starters, they started off the game pretty good, and even the third quarter, it was more the middle of the third where Clippers went on that run. So I don't know if it was just the Lakers hot shooting coming from the All-Star break or what, but I mean, it seems like that lineup did pretty decent. Marcus Smart, he's going to play, even though he's going to start, he's probably going to play like he played 29 minutes tonight. As long as he's healthy, I think that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. Just kind of looking around. Rui, I was kind of looking. So 26 minutes, which is normal. So he's actually playing like kind of semi, almost close to starter minutes. Only 1 for 4. I gotta see some more shots there from Rui. I know Luka obviously was on pretty much on fire, but I'm looking at the 1 for 4. I'm looking at LaRavia 1 for 1. Luke Kennard, we've kind of talked about a couple of times. He's 4 for 6, and he's just not a high volume scorer. But again, I would love to see him get some more shots out there too. Not that there was enough problem offensively tonight, but just for a little bit more balance,
Yeah, I mean, I like what Luke Kennard is doing, like throughout the games he's been in. He's taking his time. Yes, you'd want to see him shoot a little bit more, but that's just the way he plays, right? Like he's a really efficient shooter, right? So he's not going to take 10, 12 threes or anything like that, but he'll take a solid 3 or 4, maybe get into that 6 range here and there if he's playing enough minutes, right? But I liked his minutes tonight when he came in there. I felt like he has a good feel for the game, good pace for the game. He's not a huge liability on defense yet, showing that it's not like he's out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's out there. We can't have him out there. He's such a liability. He hasn't been that way. He's been scrappy on defense, and he's been really picking the spots on offense. So I love that a lot. Now, I think for LaRavia, and he's coming off of starting for a good portion of the last 20 something games, right? So I think he's got to get used to kind of coming off the bench, playing the bench role again, and that's something that he's not used to, especially with the Lakers in the last 20 games or so. So I think that would take a little time to kind of get back to where he needs to be. And really, for sure, if he's going to play 26 minutes, we need more than 4 shots there, because that's not going to really do it.
Yeah, definitely. LaRavia is going to kind of have to get back to being part of the bench and kind of get used to his role there. So it looks like Lakers, they played about 10 guys, which you probably are going to figure that's what it's going to be again with health that they'll probably roll with. I mean, sure, you might see Maxi Kleber in some blowouts or something, but I mean, those are the 10 guys. And then obviously come playoff time, you're going to maybe shrink that a guy or two. Will be interesting to see who kind of falls there out of the rotation.
Yeah.
Not that you have to do that. I mean, you could go 10. It's just normally in the playoffs you don't. But yeah, LeBron, 33. I was going to ask Austin Reeves, 33 minutes. He was out some kind of crucial times there, like 4 or 5 minutes in the fourth. He was out. is there still, you think, a bit of a minutes restriction, or is he pretty?
Yeah, I mean, this was his first game starting again, right? So I think he's been playing about 24 to 28 minutes in the game. So you figure he'll now be in that 28 to 32 range for a while. So I can see him kind of staying there for the next week or two, and really just ramping up to the postseason, right? So when you get down to like 10 games or so, then he'll be playing his handful of, 36 to 40 minutes or something like that. But I do foresee him playing around that 30-minute mark right now for the next week or two. And along with LeBron, right? Like he woke up with soreness. He's had his ankle issues. He's had his foot issues. He's had the sciatica. We need to keep him healthy and preserved for the playoffs. So I don't expect his minutes to be super high over these next couple of weeks, right? But anywhere in that range from 30 to 34 minutes, I think is a good range for LeBron.
Yeah, I think that would be just about right, because it's 27 left, and I think there was like 3 back-to-backs that we saw, and there's some, some of the games are pretty compressed, game every other night, pretty much for a stretch there, and some a lot of home games coming up here. So hopefully you can handle business at home, so you can not have to depend on winning a bunch of road games. But yeah, I think you got Reeves at least playing a little bit more than he's been playing tonight, and then look for that to continue. Just kind of looking down the stat sheet here, but yeah, I mean, Bando played 10 minutes. I liked, DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart. It kind of scared me half to death, like them offensively in there, like towards the end of the game. But I liked Ayton's minutes tonight. He was active. Was never going to be a huge playmaker or anything like that. It's not really his role. But 28 minutes, right? 5 for 10 from the field. He was a presence down there, and so I thought he had a decent night.
Yeah, I think if we can get, you're going to get 10 to 15 out of Ayton, right? And that's what you kind of expect. You don't really expect too much more. And I felt like you did a good job on the boards, especially towards the end of the game, right? You got some big rebounds that we need. So anywhere in that range from 10 to 15 points, 7 to 10 rebounds is something that you want to see out of him. It's those games that he has like 6, like no part of the game, no part of the game plan. And when he's like that, he doesn't engage, right? So if he's not getting the ball, if they're not kind of looking for him, or even if he's not setting those screens for Luka, like there's a lot of that towards the end of the game, right? Trying to get Dunn off of Luka, because Dunn was all over him in the third and fourth quarter. So I love that about him, because he's a big body and he does really well at setting screens. So down the stretch, he had a really good couple of screens that like let Luka get loose. 1 for a 3, then also 1 to get fouled too. So I think if he can continue to do that, that's what we need out of him. That's how he stays on the floor. Otherwise, you see a little bit more time out of Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, it's a good point with just his activity. Like even him setting screens, it kind of keeps him in the flow, even if he doesn't get the ball right away or off a screen and roll. And so when the Clippers, they have a guy that they could afford to just really have roam, just be all over Luka and not worry about too much about him on the offensive side. Yeah. So Luka's going to get that kind of attention, and so I think that was it was a big part of tonight's win. And so again, it's first hopefully of many wins here. 27 to go, as I said. I think the Lakers are, we were talking about it off the air. Right? Like the 3 to like 6, and I guess even the 7 seed, it is just going to be tight, just how it was last year. Remember, we went through the same exact thing when we started our show last year. It's going to be same type of deal.
It's literally from the 3 seed, the Denver Nuggets, to the Minnesota 6 seed right now. It is a 1 game difference, right? 7 to 8. Right, so you're gonna see that for the foreseeable future, and you can even have Phoenix kind of get involved in that. They're from the 3rd seed; they're only 3.5 games back, right? Yeah. So that's going to be 3 to 7 is going to be a pretty interesting battle down the stretch. And then if you look at all those opponents, like trying to think of best matchup for the Lakers, you're either playing essentially Denver, Houston, or Minnesota. And like all those teams are pretty good, and I wouldn't say there's any favorable matchups there. We saw what happened with Minnesota last playoffs, and you'd like to see that wouldn't happen again, because I feel like we found a way to play the bigs now. But last year they were kind of pretty much useless, right? We didn't have Aiden, and then Jackson Hayes as a starter after getting Anthony Davis traded. It just wasn't like he didn't have a feel for the game as much as we wanted him to, as much as he has this year. So I feel more comfortable there going against their bigs, but I'd rather not play Minnesota right away again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, regardless, unless the weird, crazy occurrence that Lakers, let's say, get the 3 and Phoenix slides to the 6 somehow, which, I mean, it's possible, but most likely not. And their first round matchup will be Denver, Houston, or Minnesota, as you said. And so I guess there's really no jockeying for position other than getting like a home court the first round. Yeah. Because like I don't even want to say who I'd rather play, because Houston, but I just feel that
disrespect already starting for KD, huh?
Oh man, remember like Houston last year, how we won?
Oh man, we wanted Houston for Golden State so bad, and we know what happened.
No, but yeah, I kid a little bit, because this is a different, Houston team, obviously, with KD. But I think last year, obviously, I think even the 2 seed was kind of a little bit up for grabs there towards the end.
Yeah.
But this year it's more the 3 through the 6, and pretty soon, like I said, are going to hear our stat around getting that top 3 seed. And
top 3 seeds important. Like you said, I mean, you're playing Denver, you're going to play Joker. Playing Houston, you play KD. You play Minnesota, you're playing Ant. Right, so we got superstar. Denver's had a lot of injuries throughout the season, so that's one thing, and they're kind of up and down, but they're still the freaking 3rd seed, even with all those injuries right now. So it's going to be an interesting kind of down the stretch battle. I hope the Lakers can go on a little streak here. Just in general, they just need to stop, win a game, lose a game, win a game, like stop playing that 500 ball at this point. And if they can kind of go on like a 8 out of 10 type of roll, right? 10 out of 15, 10 out of 12, and just try to go on that type of roll where to get some more wins and get under the belt. Then maybe you're looking at, hey, could they catch San Antonio, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like it would be likely at all, but you do have to win, string along some games and kind of get to a point where you're getting a little bit of streak going on. I did like what LeBron said at the All-Star game, kind of when they were doing the interview. He's essentially like, we're ready for the second half of the season. We have to start playing better. Obviously, we've had times where we play like we're a great team. We had times where we're playing like a terrible team. But we know the second half is where we kind of hit their stride. And over the last 2 seasons, they really have hit like a stride in that second half of the season. So I think they're familiar with it. At least LeBron is, and Luka and AR. So I think they can kind of get it going. But their defense is going to be their nemesis. 100% is going to be their issue.
Yeah. It'd be nice to go on a 7-8 game winning streak, and you see the Spurs lose a couple, then you're like, hey, all those teams are going to be kind of even close to the 2 seed now. And I think Lakers defensively, we're going to see some games that it's not going to be an issue. But there's those big games against some good teams, one being on Sunday, where we'll probably see it stick out like a sore thumb. I was looking, so Lakers have 27 games left. And I'm going to call this kind of like team tank, right? So I kind of wanted to see how many games the Lakers have against teams that are currently tanking. And they have about 8 games out of the 27. And my team tank teams are, and you can let me know if you think somebody else should be thrown in there. In the West, I got Utah, New Orleans, Sacramento. And in the East, I got Indiana, Brooklyn, Wizards. And I think I got to throw the Bulls in there now. They've lost 7 straight.
Okay. Oh,
so out of the 27, 8 of them are against Team Tank, and you just got to handle business, right? Against those kind of teams. Those teams want to literally lose, so you better beat them. And then I think you got a game or 2 more if you throw in like a Dallas, right? Depending on, Dallas has lost 10 straight. Sure. Oh my God.
Yeah. They're on Team Tank too.
If you want to throw them on Team Tank, then it's about 8 or 9 games then. And of course, I take it that the Nuggets and the Rockets probably are playing those teams as well. But I was just kind of interested to see what Lakers have ahead of them against some of those teams, and they still a third of that schedule is against those teams, which is obviously an upside for the team.
Yeah, and they have a lot of home games over this next stretch, right? Where they only have essentially 3 road games over the next 10 games or so. That should help, at least some home cooking. I know their record hasn't been the greatest at home, but they have to get better in their home stadium. Yeah. So I think that'd be a good thing. But yeah, Team Tank, you got to win those games against Team Tank. Like all those games should not be lost. I mean, there's a back-to-back, not a day back-to-back, but you got Sacramento, New Orleans at home. Eric,
I swear to God.
If they lose either 2 of those games, I think Laker fans would just there's gonna be a riot. They can't afford to lose those type of games. I know those are the games that the Lakers are typically lose, like where you're just like, you can't lose those ones.
Really? Are you serious? Yeah.
But those 2 right there, you got to handle your business and get them done. And especially because you got, next 4 games, you got Boston, Orlando, Phoenix, and
a little tough stretch for sure.
Right.
So if you want to go on a run, it's not going to be easy,
Exactly. Right. So you got a couple tough games there. But that's the playoffs, right? You're getting closer to the playoffs. You're getting closer to the end of the season. Every team is getting ready for the playoffs, so they got to win too. So everybody's going to give you their best fight, just like the Clippers did tonight. Hats off to Kawhi, right? That dude is a beast this year. Is having career high at 28 points a game. Did leave the game with ankle soreness, so hopefully he's all right in that aspect. I kind of chalk it up to it was a back-to-back, and he probably hit that minute limit where he was like, I'm a little sore. So it's kind of weird to do that at the end of the game, especially when it's a close game. But, it probably was something that was bothering him because he's gone into the whole season feeling really good, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was strange too. I was going to point out, like he came back in the game at the end of the second half because John Collins got hurt, but he wasn't in the last few minutes of the second quarter, which is rare, right? That you have your star or a starter that's out of the game the last few minutes of the second. I thought that was we haven't obviously paid close attention to the Clippers. I just think that they know where they stand. They're going to be kind of in play-in territory. But they're, I feel they're pretty good. I mean, they could be a little free, right? So there's no pressure. And I think some of those guys are kind of playing or taking advantage of that. But yeah, I mean, they started off so bad that it's going to be hard probably for them to creep into the 6. But obviously Kawhi, he's just really balling out right now. But we'll see. We'll see if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Clippers as that 8 to get an 8 seed, which would be crazy, right? I
could see that
going from what were they 6-21. I believe they're only when they hit. Well, eventually when they do hit 500 or go above 500, they'll be the second team since the Miami Heat of, what was it? Oh, they said 2012, 2013, something like that, where they were 15 games below 500 and then finished the season. They finished the season 41-41. So it feels like the Clippers will have a better season than that. The way they've been playing, you never know how it's going to go, but they seem that they got it. Kind of going together with some of these young guys. They got, a guy from Indiana, Mathurin, right? Doing super well. He can score in bunches. He just a minute scorer, right? He'll play 30 minutes and get you 30 points.
Yeah, I don't know if what happened in Indiana or if he is actually playing better than I thought. But geez, to me that seems like a steal. That's somebody that they could maybe build around, right, in the future. And then obviously with Garland too, with those two. It's a different, the Clippers haven't won, right? I think they've only won 3 series with Kawhi since he's gotten it. And so they, but they've the last 12 to 15 years, they're obviously a different type of franchise, and they make good, sound decisions for the most part. And they were well coached. And so, yeah, I was going to ask you actually. So if the Lakers had Ty Lue and that staff, if you flip staffs, where would the Lakers be at right now?
From the year when LeBron came, 2018, Lakers would have at least 2 championships, Eric.
Wow, you feel that strong about?
Yeah, they wouldn't have gone through 3 coaches or had 3 coaches. They would have one coach the whole time. Yes. They likely would have had some more chemistry and kept players together. And I think they would at least had 2 championships. I don't, I mean, it's hard to say because you had AD and then now we traded for Luka, so it's a totally different squad, right? But I think they would have won 2 championships with Anthony Davis and LeBron-led team. I think that would have happened for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing for sure. Ty Lue definitely gets the most out of his players, it seems. They always seem to overachieve. Yeah. He's had some, obviously, there's been some Clipper teams that have fallen too, right? So it happens. But I think there'd be probably more of like a defensive identity. But it is what it is, can't, it's not going to happen, right? Well, actually, could have happened. But, offered him a 3-year deal or whatever. But
then again, you did point out the other day that the Lakers were 28-13 at the season after they won a championship when LeBron went down with the ankle injury against Atlanta.
Yes.
And then that cost him, probably the most of games he's missed in his career in a row, except for, I don't know if he missed more than 15 like he did the sciatica. Can't remember exact. I know he missed a good amount. Like it was like close to 18 or so. But yeah, so that, health plays a big role, right? So if the Lakers were healthy that year, continue to stay. I mean, if LeBron was healthy, right? Frank Vogel's job probably wouldn't have been on the line. They could have been closer to a championship team that year, right? So I think there's a lot of things that go wrong sometimes, and some things you can't prevent.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's not really talked about that much. And again, there's no excuses, right? It is what it is. Injuries are part of the game. Sometimes you take advantage of these injuries if there are some. But yes, Lakers had to come off a championship. They were the 2 seed. If in Atlanta, who was the player again that rolled over him?
Oh gosh,
I was remembering it.
It wasn't Johnson, was it?
No. I can tell you right now. I was just looking at it the other night too, because Solomon Hill. Yeah,
heard from since that injury.
Exactly. And so again, this literally has nothing to do with this year's team, but he got injured, and Lakers ended up being a 7 seed. We probably would have been a top 2 or 3 seed. And things just would have been different. I didn't realize LeBron, he didn't come back until the second to last game of the season that year.
Okay.
Crazy.
Oh wow. So they were 28-13. So they're 41 games in. He missed that many games?
Yeah. I mean, remember they only played 72 that year, but still, he missed a lot of games.
So he
came back second to last game. Yep.
Yeah. So he missed 30 games. Wow. So yeah, it was one of the most.
And I think what the biggest mistake was, and it was probably Laker fans freaking out too, is they basically tore that team apart the year. Like we didn't look at that team like, hey, that team was good enough, but look at the injury that happened. And we just kind of made a 180 and traded for Westbrook. And obviously that went real shitty, Yeah,
it's tough. But yeah, if you guys have any other kind of thoughts about the Lakers tonight and kind of going into the rest of the season, let us know. We can kind of answer it throughout the rest of the show. But in an ideal scenario, Eric, we talked about the Lakers needed to go. So we had 28 games left, right? So they needed to go 18-10. I believe that's what we're talking about.
I think I said give me 18-10 to get 51 wins, right?
51 wins, right? So we're obviously at least off to a good start, go 1-0. But think about it, 18-10 is not that unreasonable, right? Like,
Yeah,
especially
17 and 10 now, right? You know,
17 and 10 now. You got the teams that Eric talked about earlier, the team tank, right?
that's 8 wins right there. I mean, I won't like, hey, that's the way it is, right? If you're going to get 17 wins, you got to start piecing them together, right?
I mean, Eric, do you know that Sacramento Kings has lost 15 in a row?
I was looking at, are you serious? What? Did I just see somebody else's out for the year?
Okay, so hold on. Let's go. Obviously, I am a physical therapist, and that's the whole angle of this show. We talk about injuries.
Yeah,
I have never seen a team tank job of like everybody's getting surgery, because like I'm not saying that these surgeries aren't warranted. But like Sabonis was supposed to come back, and then he's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna clean it up. I need to clean that knee up, and I'm gonna have surgery." Right? You got Zach LaVine, who obviously he's been playing with his wrist injury. I mean, he could have played through it, right? He's like, "No, I'm wrapping it up. I'm gonna have surgery on this wrist, this tendon." And then DeAndre Hunter, who they traded for, I think he had he got an eye injury with him. He got an elbow to the eye or something like that, and he's having surgery, and he's out for the season. So you got three of your main players that are going to be out for the season, and poor little DeMar DeRozan and Westbrook just sitting there, just playing every night.
Forgot about Westbrook. My God. I'm sure Westbrook is playing every night too. I'm 100%.
Oh yeah, he don't take no days off with Westbrook. I think is this it for Westbrook? Because I know we're going on a tangent right now, but like, it just hasn't been,
why not?
It hasn't been going as well, right? He had his stop at Denver, and it was up and down. Like, I felt like there's times where he felt pretty good there, and then there's times they're not, and they didn't want him back, right? Now he goes and signs with, nobody really wanted to sign him, and he signs with Sacramento. So I feel like he could still be a good presence on the team. I just don't know if he's that type of teammate that you want if you're a championship contender.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be up to him. We're not going to decide when he retires or not. And if he wants to play and somebody signs him, shit, he's going to do it. But yeah, it's talk about just a lot. I mean, if you're on a different team every year in your last 5 or 6 years, right? Kind of like similar to Chris Paul. It does kind of show, not to like tie in LeBron into this. It is show that is pretty impressive, again, what LeBron's doing, because you see some of these guys that, like, I mean, obviously look at Steph Curry. He's just been so banged up as of late too, right? You know what I mean? It's crazy. But as far as Westbrook goes, like, I mean, please, I would hope maybe he can go out the same year that CP3 went out. But if somebody's going to employ him, maybe he's going to go to like Toronto next year. I don't know. Somebody random, just Milwaukee, who knows? And so be it. But yeah.
I mean, I think there's a fit for him somewhere, right? Like, even like, I'm surprised, like, he didn't sign with like Houston after kind of Fred VanVleet went down, and he's been in Houston, and he's played with KD, and I feel like that could have been a fit, but then again, we don't know what goes on in the locker rooms and kind of the fit that he needs to be. And if you ask the players, they usually like Russell Westbrook, but maybe it's like a coaching thing at times where hit philosophies and like how he feels he should play and things like that. That might be more of where people butt heads a little bit, but I thought maybe like a Houston would have been a decent fit because they just don't have a point guard. I think that will be their nemesis going into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think like similar to Chris Paul, maybe like a personality is tough too, right? We have someone with like a huge personality when they don't really produce to like match that personality. And I think Houston could have done it. And if, hey, it didn't work out after like 20, 30 games, they could have cut bait. Yeah. But have Westbrook and Durant, have they played together since OKC or
no?
Because I know obviously Durant and OKC. I know Harden and Westbrook, but not Durant. And then obviously Harden and Durant in Brooklyn, but not Westbrook and him. So
yeah.
But yeah, you got them losing 15 straight. You got Dallas now losing 10 straight. Obviously going just super young there. I think I mentioned Chicago's losing 7 straight. Yep. I mean, this will tell you it's definitely a deep draft, as we talked about, because I think teams are not really caring. I mean, they obviously want to get the number 1 pick, but even if you get a high pick, you may get a decent player. So Brooklyn has lost. Wizards. They're just
I mean, then you got Adam Silver trying to lay down the hammer this week, right? Where he's talking about how they're going to do some anti-tanking rules, and man, for me, I think it gets a little too much when you're trying to make all these type of rules for just tanking.
Yeah,
like I agree. I don't think it should. Like, I think this happens every year, right? Like, there's some years
overreaction. Yeah,
you're getting an overreaction of how bad teams are tanking. I do feel like, yes, finding teams like they did Utah, great. If you want to take away a draft pick, 100%. But I don't think you need to make these special rules like, oh, if you can only be top 4 protected or top 8 protected, whatever it is, right? Like all these like special things. And if you're bottom twice, then you can't be in the first, you go to the bottom of the first round. Like, I don't think that's all necessary. If the team is bad, they're bad, right? Like if they just don't have any good players that want to sign with them in free agency, there's nothing you can do. I think there's some ways to make that more of an incentive to sign with teams, but I think we're just overreacting to all this tanking things. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, at first when Utah did what they did, I kind of was like, at first thought a little hot about it internally, and like, man, they got to do something. But then you see people like coming up with like, oh, like do like a tournament at the end for the first pick. I'm like, yes, I really want to see Sacramento and the Bulls and who else did we say? New Orleans go and play a little tournament for the number. Brooklyn, yeah, that's gonna be amazing. Like beautiful, like TV. Come on, guys, like that is just so silly.
Westbrook going at Jaw in the finals. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, does it have to be tweaked? Yes. Does it affect seeding? Right, because some of these teams are going to be playing against other teams that are trying to make the playoffs, and when you're sitting a bunch of guys, maybe it kind of is unfair in that sense. That's the one thing that I really care about. I could care less about the bottom 7 or 8 teams in the league. There's always going to be a bad 7 or 8 teams in the league. We've never cared about them before. Why do we care about them now? That's my thing. I would say the only thing is that competitive advantage when I just mentioned Lakers are playing 7-8 games against them. Now, Denver's probably playing them too, though, right? So it's fair in that sense. But having tournaments and like all these weird things, it's just the flavor of the month. I mean, I remember last year, people were freaking out about the 3-point line and taking away the corner 3, and we should take away extend the 3-point. Like, I don't even hear anything about that anymore, right? Yeah. And so, it's just a little bit of pressure that Adam Silver is getting. He probably will do something though about it this time around.
Sounds like he's going to. I didn't like the option of like where they lock it in at the All-Star break. I'm like, to me, that just makes taking go earlier. Then you're like 20 games into the season, you're like, nah, we're good. We're just gonna be as bad as possible, like going into it, right? Yeah. So it's just gonna go up and up regardless of it. So I like the fines and taking away picks. Like if you're gonna my thing is like you said, don't rest players. Like if players can play, they play. If you got a star player and you're just resting them or taking them out of the fourth quarter, then you should definitely be fined or taking away the draft pick for that.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I could maybe like is to not have, you're going to keep your pick or like the pick protection, because Indiana is like in a weird spot where they protect their pick if it's like a 1 through 5, I believe, either 4 or 5, and then the Clippers get it if it's 5 through 13, for example. I don't know. Don't quote me on the exact numbers. So that's a weird spot, right? So you're going to see them like probably get really bad. Although it doesn't mean they're going to get a high pick. So I would say that could be maybe something, or where you, when you're trading first round picks, it's a flat out first round pick, not. Yeah.
Wait, when did they start doing these pick like protected picks? Like, has this been a long time? Because for some reason when we were growing up as like kids and teenagers, I do not remember when like, oh, the Lakers have a protected pick and all this stuff. Maybe I didn't pay attention to it as much, but I definitely hear about protected picks and swap picks way more now than I did before.
I think I just did like a quick Google search. So pick protection in the NBA originated in 1984.
Okay.
The first instance occurring in a trade with the Pacers and the Mavericks. But I also think that draft picks are more valuable than players these days. Yeah, and that was certainly not the case back in the day.
For sure.
If you're trading for like a star, right, you're gonna have to trade 3 or 4 quality guys for the most part.
Yeah.
Like when Lakers traded Shaq to Miami, it's not like they got like 4 first-round picks for him.
No.
Right? It was like Brian Grant and Lamar Odom and Caron Butler. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Right? It was totally different. Like they just got more players than picks in that aspect. Yeah.
So that's part of it too. Like we just last 10 years probably have seen just more first-round picks. And what's funny is when we see a trade and it's like, oh yeah, they traded like 4 first-round picks. We hear later on that it's pick protected. We don't even know that it is, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like the Clippers, they got 2 first-rounders for
Zubac. Yeah. Nope. Eric, did we lose you? Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe on my end, I couldn't hear you at that point, but it
okay.
froze.
Yeah, I think it froze up on
my right?
Yeah. I was saying like a trade like that, like it was 2 first-rounders, but it's heavily protected by Indiana. One of them. So
for sure. But nonetheless, they have to probably do something about it just because everybody's going to talk about it. But hopefully, it's nothing too drastic.
Yeah, I agree.
But, all right, so I wanted to just kind of give a quick update on Steph Curry before we get out of here. The MRI came back clean for structural damage, which is good. It's kind of what we talked about, like whether or not there was any other issue in there they needed to check for. Did not. They're still going with the runner's knee, which is that pain that he's having in the front of his knee. He's going to be reevaluated in about 10 days. So, I mean, for the Warriors, essentially, because they're basically a playing team, they're going to probably stay in that position, not going to really fall out of it. So likely they're going to try to give him as much rest as needed as possible, try to get him back for maybe the last couple, 20 games, maybe 15 games, whatever that looks like, so he can at least start to get the rhythm back and get him into the playoffs, at least try to get into the playoffs from the play-in for the Warriors.
Steph Curry was interviewed and he was saying that he's going to play when the games start to become important. So that'll tell you right there kind of where they stand. I think it is what it is with them this year. That's not a recipe. That sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Like, which I get it. Like, there's no sense. Like, they pretty much, I think they've thrown in the towel in terms of getting like a top 6 seed. Yeah. And as you mentioned, they're not going to fall out. Obviously, I would imagine they would like to have at least an 8 seed, right? So you can just have a chance basically a chance to win 2 games, right? One of the 2, and you're in. But I think once Jimmy Butler went down,
that was tough.
It's tough, and obviously, if Curry was, if he was healthy, he'd be out there. He's obviously not.
They remind me of the Lakers a couple years ago, right? Where we're just constantly in the play-in. We're like, we need to get a top 6. We need to get top 6 seed, and they're just literally at the 8-9 position all season, 500 ball. Maybe make a run in the second half of the season like they did with Darvin Ham's first year. Right, where they kind of made that run and got to the 7th seed and then got the Western Conference Finals. But they're just in that boat. Like, we've been there before. Like, at least this past year when we got the Lakers got the third seed, and then this year they've been 10 games, 12 games above 500. Right, they've kind of been staying around that range, and the Warriors have just been about 500, a couple games above, a couple of games below, and just kind of staying that way. And to me, they're going to have to really have a long thought process on what they want to do. Steph's going to have to think about what he wants to do with his career, because he doesn't have that much career left. right? I mean, I know we all see LeBron playing at 41, but not everybody's going to do that. And whether or not he wants to do that, being in the play-in every year, or is it something that he might want out?
That would be something. That would be crazy to think. I mean, obviously, when we think of Steph Curry, we think of the Warriors. I would say that's a good point. Warriors and Lakers, the last 6-7 years, basically identical. Each have a championship, right? The one year that they were pretty healthy and had a top seed, each team won the chip. Every other year, practically like in the play-in. Maybe both teams have like made a little bit of noise though as a low seed too. They won a round or two. Yeah. They Warriors like tend to like the first 10 games of the year, you're like, damn, like that Warriors team, like they're solid, right? And then all of a sudden the little nagging injuries come up and they fall back into the play-in. And here we are again. And I think this year though, compared to last year, I was like, oh man, they're gonna go on a run. And they probably would have if Steph Curry again didn't get injured and with his hamstring. But yeah, that would be crazy to see if he does actually want to ultimately leave. I mean, he doesn't really have to do much in terms of a resume. His resume is basically complete, but I'm sure he's in the business of winning. And that'd be something if he goes elsewhere. I don't know if it'll happen.
I mean, the reality is just their stars are old. I mean, Steph's old, Draymond's old, Jimmy Butler's 35, 36. Al Horford, they signed Al Horford. He's old. I mean, they just got a team of old players as your main players, and then their young guys just aren't as good as advertised. They're not as good as people think they really are, or they think they are. Obviously, if a player like Pods was a really good player, he would be stepping up and filling that role for Jimmy Butler, but he's not. Right? Like Kuminga, they tried it. He's not. He's out of there now. Like they got these young guys that are not those players, and reality is they got to face that.
So a tad overrated. You're saying some of these others that are like known to be the next best thing, but obviously right now they're not showing it.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do. Hopefully he gets back soon because the NBA is better when Steph is playing. And you kind of want to at least see him out there on the court. But I'll let you guys know as soon as we get any more updates. We'll kind of update the show as well. Eric, you got anything else before we get out of here?
I think that's it. Lakers Celtics Sunday. It's always a big one playing Boston.
Oh yeah. So LA Boston will be back shortly in the next couple of days. But until then, the Hoops Rehab team is out. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.